So mods have been releasing non-stop since the release of Bannerlord, most of them being small but great quality of life mods. The large mods that many of us are waiting for as a community are most likely not going to be released until the full release of the game, or a much later in early access where they fix a lot more of the current issues with crashes in the game and things of that nature. So we will have to wait on those and make do with what we got currently. So basically this series, I'm going to be picking out 5 mods where I think they'll really benefit you. They're great quality of life mods, and it's just mods that people would enjoy and want to have in their playthroughs that just enhance the experience, or, you know, can change the experience and maybe give a different flavor for those who want that, you know, bit of a different scene at the beginning of a game, things like that. So I'm sure we'll get to different types of mods as we go, but I'm going to be picking 5 out of every week. So this first mod comes from drakaeb. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Please correct me down below if I did. What this mod changes is essentially it slows the looters down in the game by 9%, but is not limited to the looters. You can also change the steppe bandits, the desert bandits, the mountain bandits, the sea raiders, caravans, villagers, and the sea raiders. Although once you install this mod, it does not actually change anything but the looters, and you have to go into the configuration file that is very easily accessible and change the percentages yourself. So currently it is only set to looters and only 9% slowdown, but it really helps out with that very early game where you just can't seem to catch any looters. For me personally, that 9% really does it well, and it makes it just that little bit easier. If you want to slow it down a little bit more, you can. If you want to slow them down by 99% and just make sure you catch every single looter, it's completely up to you what you want to do with this mod. So it's at your liberty, do what you want, and it's just a really nice quality of life early game. When you get to mid game with the horses and everything, you have no problem catching parties, except for the steppe bandits who seem to really evade me all the time, no matter what. But that makes sense, of course. Aside from those, it just makes that early game really nice. And then late game, it can make it really easy to catch major groups of sea raiders if you want to get XP gain, whatever you want to do with it. So enjoy that mod. This next mod comes from the Wolf Panda. So the second mod that we have is View All Wars, and it is in the name. Basically, all it does is that are able to view all of the different wars that all the factions are at, so you can see, say if you're a Lord of the Khuzaits and you want to find out what Britannia are doing, they're not currently at war with you, so you're thinking, okay, where can I gauge what power each kingdom has and who is at war with who? Really simple, you just press the home button on your keyboard, and that's it. It comes up with the different wars, and it's just like a nice overview and easy to figure out what's going on around you, because often early game you don't really know what's going on with who's at war with who unless you physically see a lord attacking another settlement from another faction. That's the only way you could figure it out, really. Aside from that, there's no other real option or way to figure out who's at war with who. You can't even ask the lords themselves who they're at war with like you could in Warband. So therefore, this mod is a great little just information helper, makes things easier to gauge as to who you should be attacking, who should not be going to war with, who you should be going to war with. And that's good enough on its own, but he is actually working on his own user interface as well. Very similar to the one in the Kingdom Diplomacy tab, so that will be really nice when that comes out and make it an even better mod. The next mod that I picked is from Leo Harlequin, and basically all it does is that it's a Hideout player party limit remover. That is the title of the mod itself, and basically all it does is there are a series of files that you can pick, and you can choose how many troops you want to be able to take into hideouts with you. This can be your entire army, so there is no limit whatsoever. You can limit it to 15, 20, 25, 50, 90, as the specifics files say, and just do what you want with the hideouts, essentially. It makes a lot more sense, I think, personally, having this mod installed. Again, I will not be installing these mods for my own playthrough of the game and my current Let's Play is, but I can definitely see why somebody would want to download one of these just to make it even more immersive, because I think it just makes sense to, why would the leader of an army only go in with few troops when he could bring a whole army in to protect him, you know? So it makes a lot more sense, and I hope you enjoy this mod. So this mod comes from GeneralBrae and is called Improved Granary. So often what you find when you take a settlement or a castle is that the production of food in your castle can either be low, or it could be producing something and then drop for reasons that, Bannerlord has, where local village is being raided and then reduces the food production. So if you end up getting caught in a pickle like that in your campaign, you can actually almost make it a bit more immersive. And as a lord, you can protect your cities and your towns by being able to put in your own food to the store. It adds a little extra feature that makes you be able to do it. And often, I think personally, it's actually more immersive, because if you're a particular lord if you want to protect your cities and castles, you can just add food to it, and it makes it a lot better. So GeneralBrae does plan to actually improve on this as he has time, because currently you can only put a max amount of food of 160 into the store, whereas a lot of people would see this as too low. So he's going to try and figure out if he can fix that in the future. Often what you find is as well that when your food production goes low, you end up losing many troops within your castles and settlements. So again, this just alleviates some pressures from yourself, and you can look after your castles and your cities better. The next mod comes from Sir Doombox, and this mod is called Custom Campaign Options. So what this mod does is that it adds more sliders to the campaign options. As you can see currently, the difficulties that you can have on this is like 1/3, 2/3 damage for your friendly parties, your own parties, and your self-character, your movement speeds, things of that nature. That's currently what you can change. But this gives you far more liberty over what you can change and how you can change it. And it even adds an XP slider to it as well, which is really nice. It's just giving you that extra control over your personal playthrough. And that's what Bannerlord's all about, is giving the player control over their own story and their own campaign. So in terms of the player received damage, it does actually change it to percentages rather than 1/3, 2/3, and then full damage. You can actually specifically fine tune it to a specific percentage that you want. And you can do the same with friendly parties and player troops. And you can also make the recruitable troops extra, so you can get an army super quick if you feel like doing so. You can increase the player experience by a substantial amount, and you can increase your map movement speed around. So this can be a bit of a cheat mod if you want it to be, but it can also be a really fine-tuned, tailored experience for yourself and keep it still difficult. So it depends completely on you what you want to do with this mod, but it just gives you that really nice amount of liberty and control over what you can do in the campaign, and I think it's a really nice mod. So guys, that's going to wrap up the first Mods Weekly. I'm going to be doing this consistently every week. I know I'm uploading this on a Thursday, but I'm actually going to be uploading the rest of them on every Friday instead now. I just kind of had this idea brimming. I said in my Let's Play I wanted to try and do it, and I understand that this is extremely rough around the edges and just kind of almost shoddily put together, but I'm going to definitely improve on it and really put some thought into the structure of how I structure them. And I'm going to make a script for each week from here on out, because there wasn't a script for this one. This was off the cuff, as you could say. And I want to make it feel more professional. So I'm going to try and get those like cute little text boxes that a lot of Mods Weekly people do. Try and get those in there, and some proper like titles and more kind of in sync footage, because the only main campaign that I've got to really get a good amount is Bledry, that my character in my Let's Play. I actually used him today as well, using some of the mods, just purely because I don't have any other campaigns that are that far down the line to be able to make use of the Granary, improved Granary and things of that nature. So it just made it a lot easier. So basically, for those of you who watch my Let's Play, don't worry, I'm not using any mods for my campaign. I literally loaded the save up that I had, messed about with the mods on that save, and then I basically quit out without saving, so I haven't lost or changed my own personal save whatsoever. So you don't have to worry about that. And yeah, that's the first week done. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll see you next week on Mods Weekly.